What's up, man? Well, nothing said you had to join my stream, but I'm glad you're here for Papa Pug to lull you to sleep. How's your trip? I don't know if I've heard of them before. I don't even know how to pronounce that. Is Melodica? Yeah, I do need view time. I also need some more subscribers as well. Yeah, I'll definitely have to take a look at them and see. Yeah, I actually think for the last 28 days I was just shy of almost 1,000 minutes of watch time. But I think at like 5 a.m. it's gonna roll over and I'm gonna lose that watch time for that first live stream that I did where like we had like 3 or 4 people in it for that hour or so. So I'm about to lose those minutes as far as for the last 28 days. I won't lose it for that 365-day time frame. Yeah, for the last 28 days, I think my watch time was up to like 983 minutes from today back 28 days or something like that. Yeah. Yeah, cuz I had like 228 minutes from that very first live stream when there's like 3 people that stayed in the live stream for like the hour and a half or however long I ran it. Oh, I'm over by Dustin's place this evening. Got the bed of the truck and all that cleaned out and everything. So that way, once I get everything taken care of, yeah, at the moment, yeah, yeah, they actually said that that until I hear back about that other place for month to month and whatnot, they're willing to let me use the camper for a couple weeks until I hear back about somewhere else because one of the other places I looked at, it's like a 5 year wait list, and it's like, I don't think I can wait 5 years. Yeah, but that place was one of those income based apartment places. So there's a lot of people that are like on Social Security and stuff like that try and apply and get into those places so that way they can get cheaper rent and everything. So that's the main reason why they got such a long wait time. Well, you need to stop spinning yourself around in circles, my dude. But nah, sorry to hear that you've been dizzy all day, man. So, I've been doing a little bit of research and learned that with the, at least with uh, the YouTube algorithm, if I can get, I think, I think, from my understanding, someone has said that if the YouTube algorithm hits like 300 views on a video, they start pushing it out more. But then apparently, uh, apparently, if there's too many views that come from the same IP address on the same uh, video, then they take away some of the views or something. I don't know, I'm still learning the whole views thing, but apparently if I can hit like 300 views on a YouTube video, then I can end up uh, getting it pushed out more to more people. But that's also why I'm trying to figure out when good time frames are to not only upload videos, but I've been trying to do live streams at different points of the day and nights and everything like that, because I'm running a test to see when the good time frames. I want a free shark card. Question is what value shark card are you talking? You talking Megalodon? Yeah, I wouldn't mind a Megalodon shark card. That would get my casino and all that up and good. Not my casino, my arcade. And where do you expect me to come up with $100 for a Game Shark or for a shark card to get to give to subscribers? Like, you know what? I'll do this. I'll offer it to my subscribers, but since it's your idea, you pay for it. I like how we had the same idea. But I've also been running these because I'm trying to see if I can get more, catch the people that might be working overnight at work that are like super bored, or maybe others that are like me that have sleep insomnia and can't sleep. But I don't know, I've been tweeting out about it about the live streams though, in hopes that some of the people see it from the hashtags. But my main issue is when I go live, I can't uh, see the link, so I don't get the chance to actually put the link to the live stream directly out on like Twitter or Facebook and push it out to people that way. You know, if I remember correctly, I think your dad still lives up there, because I remember when I hit 70 subscribers, I did a shout out for that GoFundMe page that they set up for him. By the way, how's that GoFundMe page going for them? Are they getting still receiving donations? Are they near the goal yet, or anything like that? Yeah, I think I checked about 2 or 3 weeks after I did that video upload. And I think the last time I checked, I think they're like a quarter of the way or a third of the way to the overall goal. I think that's the uh, last that I had seen. I think they were like a third of the way to meeting the goal. Don't get banned for what? I don't see why you get banned for it. But yeah, I realized I think it's time to go get the ears lowered a little bit again. I'll be moving on somewhere else eventually. I never can stay in one place for too long. I think that usually after about 2 or 3 years of living somewhere, I get bored with the state and up and leave. That's the only reason why I've ended up all over the place, up and down the East Coast. Been as far north as Massachusetts and as far south as Florida. Hoping one day if I get enough money I can just dip out and go back to Germany for a few years. Yeah, but I'm not really gonna talk too much about the truck at all. I think the current things going on with that truck, I think, are not really anything that I'm gonna make public. I think that's just gonna stay between me, myself, and friends for now. Oh, dude, if I could, I'd go back to South Africa in a heartbeat. Been there once, and I've been dying to go back ever since. Spent a month back in 2008 down there. I was over in Ghana. Spent a month in the major, I think is either their capital or one of their major cities. I stayed in Accra down in Ghana. I think it's spelled ACCRA or ACRA. But yeah, I spent the month of July back in 2008 living down there. And then In all honesty, though, but I can't help it though. I love playing with my beard. But in all honesty though, and everywhere that I've been to and everywhere that I've lived, it's honestly hard for me to choose one particular place that I would want to go back and live. I would, in all honesty, okay, so is Africa the only country you've been to outside of the United States? And if not, how many countries? Okay, so you've been to Canada, Germany, the Bahamas, Africa. Has it only been those four? Wait, how come you've never told me you've been to Germany? Or if you did, my memory's just seriously that bad. I flew into the Frankfurt International Airport, so I've been around Frankfurt, and I picked up other military members that flew into Frankfurt. So I've been around Frankfurt a little bit. Um, but see, cause so far I've been to Germany. I've been to the island of Crete, right off the coast of Greece. I've been to Kuwait, Kyrgyzstan, Saudi Arabia. Wait, is Germany, technically Greece, Germany, Greece, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, Kyrgyzstan, and Africa. So I've been to 6 altogether. Oh, dude, Frankfurt's probably changed a lot from when you were there to when I was there. But big city, really busy, easy to get lost. Not really too much there. But um, but in all honesty, the main trouble I'm having is if I decided that I ever wanted to leave the United States for good and turn my back on America and go live at a place, another country, the main trouble I'm having is I can't decide. Oh, dude, Greece, nothing like the ocean out there. The people are kind of a pain in the, or kind of, well, they're not really. Greece had, from what I saw, is on the island, great people for the most part. There was a couple people that tried to pretty much force me to go to their bars and whatnot and things like that. But I think that happened a lot of places. That nothing beats the ocean out there. I walked up to the ocean, looked down, and crystal clear waters. Like you can stand out on the docks and whatnot and look down, and you're looking straight down all the way down to the ocean floor way down below. But in all honesty, though, I'm kind of torn because if I was to ever leave the United States and go and choose some other country to live in again, I'd be torn between Germany. Just talking about countries that I've been to, I'd be torn between living in Germany, living in Greece, living in Kuwait, and living in Southern Africa again, down in Ghana. And New Zealand, I've heard, is nice. Like, I wouldn't mind going I wouldn't mind going to New Zealand. I almost said back to, but then I realized I've never been there. So I'm thinking that I'll end up needing to jump back on my Urban Legends train again, because it's been a couple weeks since I've done, and unless somehow I can get citizenship. I mean, unless the citizens are only allowed to stay there for 6 months too. And I do drink things that aren't Code Red sometimes, but in order for that to happen, Code Red has to be sold out. And then I go to the original Mountain Dew. I'll find a way. See, here's the thing you don't know, is I'm sure somewhere along my ancestry I can find someone that was from New Zealand, which technically would not make me an outsider. I wouldn't mind, see, I'm going to agree to disagree with you on that one, because Voodoo, Code Red, and the original are the main staple Mountain Dews. But, the main, I don't know why, but I've been having this draw of leaving the United States and moving to Germany, and if I do, I already know where I'll end up moving to, and the town that I'd move back to is about 40 minutes away from where I used to be stationed while I was out there. But for some reason, I'm feeling um, that the main reason why I'm kind of feeling that draw is because my whole dad's side of the family immigrated from Germany to the United States, and I actually found the family tree that lists the town that they moved from when they left Germany, and I am I'm really tempted, if I can ever afford it, to actually move to Germany and move back to that town that they immigrated from, and kind of move back to where my dad's side of the family came from and live out there. And for all I know, since my dad's side of the family immigrated from there, there is a potential that I could have some. Eric. Do I have to go mic on you? No, go ahead and finish your what if, man. I think I'm just as bad with what ifs as you are, so. But no, with I think it would honestly be pretty cool to move back there to where my dad's side of the family came from, and I'm thinking that there is a possibility that since my dad's side of the family came from there, that there is the potential that from somewhere back in that time frame. Oh, excuse me. That from somewhere back in that time frame, there might be some long distant relatives that could have still been in Germany and had descendants that are living in Germany that somewhere along the way could have still been out there. So I'm thinking somehow I might still have some relatives that live out there that I don't know them and they don't know me, but somewhere along the line in our ancestry we were related. I don't know any right now that would want cats. Are you talking about who I think you're talking about? And if you're talking about who I think you're talking about, I believe he subscribed to my channel, and if he... I think it's about time they just get that cat fixed. Yeah, I believe that if that's the cat I'm thinking about, it just had a litter earlier on. Hmm. Oh, and I think I'm deciding that since I got my hair pretty much trained to go across the side like this, I'm going to try and grow the the hair out on the top of my head to where it hangs down to like my earlobe before I get it trimmed back again. So it's already to the point where it's getting ready to pass the top of the ear. I know with hair, if you keep I forget what the thing is through it, but with hair, if you actually keep brushing it or combing it the same direction over and over again, over time it'll actually get to the point where you can get it to keep laying in that pattern. That's why with my hair, with how it used to be all fro like and everything, I spent like that month or two where I kept combing it to the side, and that's why whenever it's like all crazy like this and everything, that's why I can just kind of run my hair through it, and through a few swipes it kind of goes to laying back down and back flat again, is because I've combed it that direction so many times that it's kind of, whenever I push it in that pattern, it lays back down for the most part back into a somewhat presentable hairstyle. Because I'd started doing that from that last haircut. I was actually half tempted for a little. I spent a little bit of time trying to train my hair to go back, but that doesn't quite work on me. Whenever I try and do it, it keeps trying to do like the whole sideways thing, so I just started going sideways with it. And I've been trying to come up with some channel art too. Well, I redid my channel art again. I haven't updated it, I don't think. And I actually changed it. Instead of it saying exploring the world a video at a time, I actually updated that little phrase at the bottom where it's going to be the part of the catchphrase. But that I use at the end of my videos, where it's going to say Vlogger Tom, and underneath it it's going to say enjoy life, take it a day at a time, or enjoy life and take it a day at a time, since that seems to kind of have developed as my slogan, so to speak, for my channel. But I'm also trying to design some art for my for shirts and stuff like that. But not the greatest of artists, so not yet. By the time I went to think about that, it was already like 11 o'clock at night, so I didn't think anything of it. But I'll text you about that and everything, so that way we can get it planned out. But I'm thinking there's an embroidery place that's across from where my mom lives at. I don't know if they do shirts and whatnot, and I don't know if they can do like those pictures on shirts, but I'm thinking about if they can, after I get the design drawn up and everything. So my mom does a lot of art and everything, so I'm going to try and get her to sketch up the initial sketch idea and then get it taken from there to something more along the lines of what I want to see. And get like a couple of shirts made initially. Probably gonna make a batch of 5 at first. Yeah, dude. Uh, I never really talk about it too much, but tomorrow I actually have to stop by there and grab something. Um, so if you're not busy tomorrow and you want to give me a lift over there, I gotta grab something from there. But yeah, if she's around, I can show you some of the stuff that she's drawn and painted and colored and stuff like that. Like and it's not like my weird little chicken scratch stuff. Like she's been doing this for years. Like I think she started when she was like a teenager, and she's pretty much done it ever since. Yeah, I'm gonna look around at a couple different places as well. I'm gonna price everything out. But when I get to that point, I'm gonna shoot messages out to get shirt sizes from a select few, because I want to launch an initial limited edition, first edition shirt, and that is going to be, and I'm probably gonna have a couple made for um, for a couple people, and then um, after I get the shirts made for a couple people, then I'm probably gonna make five shirts to give away to to a couple people, and then I'm probably gonna have a five additional shirts, um, and the five additional shirts from that I'm gonna do as a uh, special giveaway and tell the people that, hey, these are limited edition, first edition shirts. Enter for a chance to win it. Um, After these shirts are gone, there will be no more shirts like this. And see if that kind of draws some people in. But it's going to be done in a way that it is advertising my channel. And what I'm probably going to do is I'm probably going to have some sort of a design on the front of it. And underneath that design, it's going to probably say Vlogger Tom. And then probably like, if I can find a way to work it into it, have the channel links on the shirt too, if I can find a way to get that to work in. But I'm probably gonna have like a portion of it that says YouTube and a portion that says Vlogger Tom, so that way people can associate Vlogger Tom and YouTube, and hopefully draw more people into my channel that way. But I'm probably gonna definitely have her or someone do the initial sketch, because my drawing is horrendous. You got a few ideas as well? Rough idea of what my logo would be for the shirts. Oh yeah, I'm actually um, probably gonna design some business cards for my YouTube channel now too, since I actually have my custom um, link. Because I almost did get some, and then I realized since I was at like 98 subscribers at the time, I decided not to get any because um, I wanted to wait to get those last two to get my customized URL. So now that I got my customized URL, I'm gonna try and get some made just that way when I'm going around and throwing out promoting about my YouTube channel and everything, I can pass them around and tell people like, hey, once you subscribe, pass it on to someone else. Well, I mean, if we could find a way to get more people in here, I'm sure there'd probably be more people that would start talking, but I did a tweet out to tell people to stop by the channel for the live stream, but probably not allowed to get on the computer or anything. But then again, it is also like almost midnight on a school night. If it's not midnight already. Oh yeah, it's already past midnight, so yeah, he's probably sleeping for school tomorrow. So far, this stream has been going for 45 minutes. About to hit 46, and you two are the only two that's been in here so far, but I did a tweet I don't know how many people actually paid attention to the tweet though after I put it out. So I mean, if you guys know anyone that's stuck awake at this hour and can kind of wrestle them into coming in here or anything like that, feel free to. Because right now it's just me and the two of you. Not that I'm complaining or anything, so I still love that watch time I'm getting from the two of you. I plan to. Again, I'm gonna bleach it like as blonde as I can get it, and then change the color after that. See how that goes over with everyone as I go about. I'll probably want to go like a bright neon blue. I'd probably go more of like midnight blue or something, like a dark blue color. Oh, dude. That time that I died, you should have seen the bathroom after I was done. It literally looked like a Smurf self-destructed in that bathroom. I should have taken pictures. No. One of the shirts, you could go Vlogger Tom with the YouTube logo in front of Vlogger. Do an upwards diagonal large print on the front. Start at right hip and go up towards left shoulder and curve around. Huh? You meaning like an upwards directional large diagonal large print like the Vlogger Tom would kind of curve up from the right hip, like going up toward the shoulder. Okay, yeah, it just made some sort of a weird sense thing to me for a minute. And then, like, I kind of took a minute to think about it, and I was like, okay. Yeah, I actually was sitting there fiddling around. Now, I'm going to tell you this before I show it. Wherever the camera is, somewhere along here, my drawing is horrendous. So don't make fun of it. But I did have an idea of a graphic that I wanted to do for one of my shirts, and I thought it would be pretty cool. But again, my drawing is horrendous. Don't make fun of it. Wherever the... right there. Don't make fun of it. But no, I had an idea of something similar to this, where it'd have like Vlogger Tom, but the letters would be kind of like staggering back and forth, and having like a weird little circle, kind of like a portal. And it would have like a cartoon version of me in the center with like the hands stretched out, and I realized I put the thumbs on the wrong side of the hands, and then have like a little bit of a scenery in the background with like a spear coming up the one side, and then having like Slender Man or something on the other side here to kind of tie in like the exploring around, the paranormal, the urban legends, like kind of tying everything together all in one. And then have like the and then maybe have like the YouTube symbol somewhere. Well, funny enough, this is what 4 years of art classes gets you. And then but then I'd probably have to have like the YouTube play button in there somewhere. Yeah, I'll send it to you, unless you know what, I'll actually just hold it here for a minute, and then if you want to just screen capture if you can. And then I can send you a clearer picture, but I'm just mentioning screen capture if you're able to, just that way if I forget, you at least have somewhat of an idea of what I was going with. I always love when there's a delay between... Oh, hang on one second. Nope, wrong. Ignore that. I believe I can do that. And then that should put it to where it's not reversed, but now my whole equilibrium on the camera is thrown off. But yeah, that should change it to where it's not reversed on screen. Because I honestly completely forgot about that whole... You taught those, I don't know if I got a Bitmoji, but my phone is capable of doing the AR emojis where it scans my face and can make that cartoon-esque character. If you actually look up on my Twitter at VloggerTom95, That's an old one. Yeah, yeah, it creates like a cartoon version of myself. I haven't done a new one recently. No, that that Twitter picture that I put up, that's the AR emoji from the Samsung S10 Plus. That actually wasn't made through the Bitmoji stuff. That was the S10 Plus. They actually have it called as the AR emoji, and that's where I end up getting that taken from. Because I can actually open up my camera in selfie mode, and I can actually get it redone, more updated, so that way it recreates it with how I look now. And then whenever I actually take selfies, I can actually change it over to the AR emoji mode with that one that I create through that version of it. And then I can actually do a couple different angles with my face, a couple different uh, um, faces, and I can do like different mouth postures and stuff like that to kind of like get a couple different ideas, and it tracks like my eyes and stuff. Unfortunately, I can't like stand back and put my hands out and actually have it read that the hands go out. It just read at the moment they only read facial expressions when you do it. Oh, we got a third person that joined in the stream. If you're just stopping in now, feel free to say hi and join in with the conversation. If you're new to the channel and you haven't subscribed yet, feel free to click that subscribe button as well while you're here. That I do not know. Um, I can. I have a couple of editing programs that I use because I um, create all the thumbnails and everything for YouTube. So what I can actually end up doing is I can take an AR emoji picture, delete. Not that I know of why. But delete the background of it, and then layer it over a different type of background, and add in did you see something? Feel free to let me know if you see anything too. It's not going to freak me out, I promise. Hopefully, depending on what you've seen. But I can delete the background of an AR emoji from the picture because I do the solid backgrounds, overlay it on top of a different style background, and then I can add in or get like a ghost and Slenderman and whatnot, and kind of delete the backgrounds on those as well, and overlay them and kind of get them laid out in a way that it could seem to work pretty well for it, and then see if we can find a way to get it put in with the right borders and everything like that, so that way it can um, kind of get that same feel that we're going for. Alright. Yeah, and feel free to shoot some of those mock-ups over to me as well. Um, and then as we go forward, figuring out what the pricings will be. And go from there. But I think for this month too, aside from working on that, yeah, true. But aside from working on that design, I'm gonna start pushing a lot more too on some of the other goals that I came up for February, since we've officially started a new month. Because I did completely pass the goal that I had set for January, because I had that goal of January to hit 100 subscribers, and last I checked I was sitting at 105 subscribers before starting the live stream tonight. But I think for February, I'm gonna look at trying to hit 150 subscribers by the end of February and improve on the retention rates and views that each of my channels are getting as I'm learning more about it. But yeah, we do need to do that 100 subscribers video. Well, it looks like we are up to 3 viewers, and then it dropped back down to 2. But I'm going to try and sketch up a couple other ideas as well too, but I'm thinking maybe potentially, why am I getting goosebumps? But yeah, we do need to register for that Riddle House Paranormal thing too. Yeah, because I think after the fair is done, they take a little bit of time for a break, and then they get back to it. Well, it was like everything was fine and everything, and then I thought I heard something outside, and then I started getting the goosebumps and everything, and the kind of the little bit of that watched feeling going. I don't know. Was that because of the remark about asking if the camper was haunted earlier? Yeah. Yeah, I've definitely felt that a time or two. Yeah, I remember you telling me something about the. I think you said something about the little girl or something that you've seen a time or two that when you're at work and no one and everyone's like, there's no one in here. Yeah, I don't know why either, but like, I remember. But I read that little portion that about where you said feeling like something's always watching you, and then next thing I know, I kind of blanked out for a minute, felt goosebumps all over my body, and then I kind of came back to it whenever I saw that it popped up where you said, "Yeah, Mike knows about that too." I'm just trying to figure out if there is something that you saw or something that caused you to ask if the camper was haunted. Oh yeah. Well, from what I understand too, Mike doesn't really like dealing with that too much, I don't think. Like, he acknowledges it and everything, but I don't think. I think if it's something that could be potentially demonic, he's not too much of a fan of dealing with it. Yeah, like you said that, and now it's like I keep getting goosebumps over and over again. It's like not normal goosebumps either. Like, it's the goosebumps that like start at your head and it kind of radiates down and then disappears for a little bit, and then a minute or two later they start at your head again and radiate down and then disappear again. Yeah. So it's not the normal goosebumps that I'm used to, so. Is that what you're thinking is causing it, is your shadows? Yeah, I'm always open to ideas for urban legends. I got two more that I'm working um, on the research and everything. Oh yeah, I've heard a little bit about Goatman's Bridge. I remember seeing that episode too. Yeah, the girl. That one I'd be weary of because there's nothing saying that that's actually who it is. Oh, and also after this live stream, I'll I'll probably make a mock-up myself as well some point before work of idea for um the shirt and send it your way, Eric. Because I do have some apps too where I can kind of merge some photos and stuff like that and kind of do background deletes and things and kind of merge it all um, together to uh, try and get at least something similar to the idea that I have for the shirt design. So I'm actually thinking, of doing a video on the skunk ape, a video on the New Jersey Devil, and a video on Spring-Heeled Jack. And I was thinking about doing a video on Bigfoot, but I don't know if that would be considered too similar to the skunk ape story. I've already been running this live stream for about an hour and 20 minutes. I'm gonna push it as long as I can. That's kind of I've just also been watching to see if anyone comes through from the Twitter, because your watch time's helping me. The amount of time that anyone else joins in helps me, and then anyone else that we bring in or that comes in while we're here that we get them to engage helps me. And then if they enjoy the channel enough to click that subscribe, it'll also help grow the channel up. So yeah, as long as my phone battery holds out, as long as this thing holds out, and as long as my energy holds out, we will run this until we can't run it no more. I did actually initially plan to launch this stream earlier today. Yeah, there's an outlet here. I did initially plan to launch this stream earlier today. I just had so much going on that it was about the time, as about an hour, almost an hour and 25 minutes ago, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and I got the time finally, I can't sleep, I'll go ahead and launch a stream. And then I pushed the tweet out, took a minute. That scared me for a minute. But yeah, I pushed the tweet out and then took a minute to kind of get my, it's his dog. It's just his dog running around, chewing on things like that. Yeah, now if his dog was inside and I heard that noise, I'd be like, hey Eric, get in your truck, come and get me now. Yeah, and I would let him in here, but when me and him and the dog were in here earlier and he went to get out, he told the dog to to get out. So I don't know if what his stance is with the dog and the dog being able to stay too long in the camper or anything like that. So I don't want to inadvertently do anything that he doesn't want the dog to do or anything. So unless he tells me otherwise, I'm not gonna start doing anything that I don't want it. Just on this side and over on that side, it's a canopy roof, but up above is actually like a legit roof. It's one of those pop-up campers. So whenever you're done using it, you fold this side in and you fold that side in, and then you drop it down. That I'm not sure of off the top of my head. I think he's mentioned it to me a time or two, but he's had to do some work to it since he got it. Like he redid the floor, and it honestly, the roof sags a little bit, so he's got a brace and everything on it, so it needs a little bit of some fixing upping to do to get it back to what it was. But I mean, overall it's still pretty good though for the condition it's in and everything. Like yeah, like this is the flooring that he put in himself. And it's got the table and the other side over there and the seats. And then he had to put that for the roof in for now, so overall it's a pretty nice little setup though. Tender love and care. You know what, I still find that kind of amusing though. When I went up north for that time frame that I was in Massachusetts, there's actually people, um, when I'd be at work or at the store, and they'd say something that in the back of my mind I was like, what are you thinking? And all I could think of, well, that was a weird little blurb that my camera did for a second there. And am I the only one that saw the camera do that weird fuzz out and fade back in and kind of act a little wonky for a second there? But, yeah, I actually looked at them after they said something. I don't remember what they said, but it just was like, I was like, how in the world are you thinking this? And all I could think of was to look at them and say, bless your heart. And they looked at me and they're like, oh, thank you. And I walked away and I was like, people from the South know that that's not a blessing when you tell people, bless your heart. Yeah, for some reason it's probably about, and it looked like I just kind of did it again. It's not really so much as a blip thing. It's kind of like, it keeps seeming like it's acting like it's just trying to like focus in and out. Like it's kind of doing the zoom and everything like that. Like it keeps doing it now on my side, but I don't know if it's feeding through to your side. And now it stopped. Unless I'm just moving too much, my phone keeps trying to... Why is it doing this? So I was sitting there thinking maybe if I'm moving, then my phone's trying to refocus if I'm moving too much. But then that doesn't explain when I stop moving and then it just keeps doing it. Well, I wonder if I sit far enough back if it'll stop. That might have been it. I might have been sitting too close to it in that last little bit and is trying to decide which one it wanted to focus on. Because after I backed away from it, it stopped doing it. Possibly. Here's what I can do too to kind of help with that a little bit. If I can... Maybe that'll help a little bit, but now I look super, like, uncomfortable. Now you can see all my wrinkles and scars. My eyes almost look brown to me now because of that. Now they look bluish green. Yeah, they do kind of have a gray look to them, don't they? Oh, now they look more blue-green. Well, this is weird though. I'm close enough where I can actually see the reflection of the screen. I'm gonna need to like screen grab this at some point so I can like use it for a future thumbnail. I'm probably gonna rewatch 1 minute 33 seconds or 1 hour 33 minutes. Once this stream is finished and it's processed, I'm probably gonna go and grab that to use it for a future thumbnail. I don't know what thumbnail I'd use it for, but it's never a bad idea to have an excess of pictures to use for quality thumbnails. I just wish my microphone would work with this without it going all static and nothing else, because I feel like that could give me some pretty clear audio if I can get a microphone that I can use for this, but I might have to look into either just continuing with using my phone's microphone for the live streams, or I may look into getting like a Bluetooth microphone that like clips in down here or something like that, or on my shirt or something like that that I can use. Oh yeah. I'm still kind of frustrated though when we were at the Riddle house that we couldn't have the tripod in there for the um, to get the clear audio. Oh, my light's dead. So back to creepy, dark moments. I actually would have laughed if I went to do that and someone like jumped in the stream right then and then turned around and left. But what's weird though is I remember hooking that light up at work to charge it up, and I haven't used it since. Oh no, yeah, never mind. I did use it, but since then. What in the tarnation is that? Okay. Oh, I understand 100% what you were trying to say, sir. I don't know, but I do know with my channel, I can choose what words you can and can't say when it comes to comments. And I can put certain words on a bad word list, and you won't be able to say I'm in comments on my videos. Any word I wanted, I could put on that list. which would be funny if I put words that everyone used on a daily basis, like you, I, me, if, and things like that. See, I actually find it kind of amusing whenever I think it needs two letters in a row. I don't know for sure though, because I think it has to technically be long enough for it to count it as a word instead of just a letter. I think. I don't know. I'm still learning things about that. Um, Mostly because for some of those features like that, I technically need to be on the desktop version of YouTube, not the mobile. Um, I just work my way around it by going to YouTube's website and I tell it to switch to desktop mode. So I technically am using desktop mode on my browser but that's only if I need to do things on there like adding a end screen to the end of one of my videos or adding in like the custom URL and things like that, things of those natures. Keep feeling like I see a slight flash of light out there, but it's never enough for me to wonder if I actually saw it. It's only enough for me, or it's never enough for me to know if I saw it. It's only enough to be like, did I see that? Wait. People would be mad as Hello Kitty on a baseball bat. Yeah, so in all honesty, when we discussed it earlier after I ripped the tailgate off of my truck, um, we discussed it earlier. I was actually kind of surprised to see that website that I actually did the research on that noted the 4% decrease in miles per gallon. Um, they were testing on, I think, as a Dodge Ram when they were doing the testing and everything. But I was honestly surprised to see that it actually caused a dip in the um, miles per gallon, because the logic I'm seeing, hear me out on this one, I might have to draw you a picture to make more sense. So, in my logic, the way I view it is when you have your average pickup truck, as I draw a second grader's interpretation of a pickup truck, when you have your average pickup truck, it's got the tailgate on the back. The way I would view it is that, story time, is that if this is your average pickup truck, that as you're driving it forward, as you drive the pickup truck forward, I feel like with the tailgate, hear me out on this one, the air would pass up and over the cab like that, correct? I feel like the air would pass up and over the cab, down into the bed like that, starting out, and then have to travel along the bed to where the tailgate's at, hit the tailgate, and go back up and over the tailgate. Like, that's the logic I'm viewing on a truck that has a tailgate. The air would go up and over the cab, down into the bed, across the bed, and have to go up and back over the tailgate. Therefore, I feel like that would cause more drag, therefore less mileage. That's my viewpoint with the tailgate. Now, I feel like if you have your truck with no tailgate, this one looks a lot worse than the first drawing. It looks like someone squished the front end. This is a truck I ran into the train with on GTA Online after it's been squished a couple times in the tunnel. But I feel like if you don't have a tailgate, you're going to be driving forward like that. And then the wind is going to go up and over into the tailgate, or into the bed like that, same as the first picture. And then go straight out the back. So I feel like in my logic and my thought process, that having the tailgate would cause a lower miles per gallon because the air would go over your cab into the bed, then hit that tailgate and have to go up and over it, causing more drag. Whereas if you don't have a tailgate, the air would go up and over your cab into the bed and straight out the back, therefore not creating as much drag. That's the logic I was running with, and that's why I, for some reason, believed that no tailgate means more miles per gallon. That's what that's how I grew up thinking. It was like, hey, if you don't have a tailgate, you're gonna have more miles per gallon, because there's no tailgate there causing drag or more resistance, therefore your truck would technically be more aerodynamic. But see, that's the thing. Technically, the aerodynamics should say otherwise, I feel like. That doesn't make sense. Why the hell does something that's going to cause more drag from the air hitting the tailgate give you more miles per gallon? Or is the cab designed in a way that the air is going straight up and over and just going straight back and completely missing the tailgate? Or am I missing something and I'm just making myself look like... Yes, I have. And 9 times out of 10, when I have them in the bed of my truck, they're flying all over the road. The only times I ever get them to stay in the bed of my truck is when they're like super wet or something's laying on top of them. Don't ruin my childhood. I'm gonna stay naive on this as long as I can. No, I'm just messing with you, man. But no, it just doesn't, like, I don't know. The only thing I can think of is that the air actually goes up and over the cab, and it just creates like a weird little air pocket where the air is passing over the bed versus actually dropping down into it, and then therefore just causing this weird little air bubble where nothing's going on. And then I hear owls. Yeah, I actually have seen that where they're creating that little tornado where they're like where it's like this weird little upwards motion like that badly drawn spring that seems to make the one truck look like it's springing out of the second truck. I have seen that a time or two. You have entered the Twilight Zone. I still think my logic was better. Air creates a weird air bubble, and then that means that that whole bad area of the pickup truck has no effect from the air. Then I got the perfect logic to defeat that. I leave the tailgate off my truck. We get a piece of sheet metal. We attach it to the top of the cab. We attach it down above the taillights. Completely destroy my field of view from straight back in the pickup truck. And therefore, truck will act like it's got a topper. I get the 10 plus horsepower of no tailgate, and everybody wins. Try to argue that logic. What are you gonna send me? Why did I hear something vibrate? Oh, you sent me a photo. I'll take a look at that after the stream, because I don't want to cause any issues with the video feed or anything like that. Is it more simplified than this? Because see, I feel like in this, here's the horizontal upwards air pressure vortex thing you were talking about. Like, here's the simplified horizontal air vortex we were talking about, of air going up. And then this picture here is the air that goes up and over the bed because of the simplified horizontal air vortex going straight up, therefore creating this little bubble here that treats it as though the truck's got a bed topper on it. I think I got a little bit of an idea of what you're talking about. I was really hoping it was going to be black and yellow, so that way it could be like that song that goes black and yellow, black and yellow. And I think whenever I get some time, it's time for another trim again and get the sides shaved off again. I'm debating about when I go in again. When I get the sides shaved off, I'm thinking of seeing if they can trim my beard up and make it a little more even all the way around. Because I shaved all of this off and all of this off back in January, so it's pretty much just left with just this bit right here. And then I never trimmed this back down to match up with this when I started letting this grow out. So this is like twice the length of everything else. So it's like I got all thin and short here, thin and short, and it's like bam, long and thick, and it's like, what in the world? So I'm thinking next time I get my hair cut of getting a trim on the beard to get it all evened out and let it all grow back in together. I've actually been debating too on just going back to goatee like this again, so that way I have like nothing on the sides and just having that. But whenever I did do that initially when I went to ARA, I feel like I looked a little weird. Like I did not like the look of how I look with a goatee. I'm more of a fan of the full beard look, but then I also kind of feel like with this hairstyle I've gone with, in combination with the beard, kind of gives me a little bit of that different vibe than what I'm used to. Because I'm always used to having my hair done in one style where it's like all the same length. I'm not used to having this. Oh, you think so? Is there any particular reason why you're saying this? Like who? Who you thinking? I'm getting curious on who you're thinking of scaring. Oh yeah? I take it you saw it tip over too on your screen, on your side? So this is weird, okay? And here's the reason why I'm saying it's weird. I don't know what caused it, but here's what I was doing when I keep leaning close to the screen and everything like that. So there's the cushioning down here as well. And what I end up doing is I've been sitting here because I initially leaned forward on my elbow when it fell over. And what I've been doing the last couple times when I was doing that is leaning to see if there's a particular area that I leaned on that would have caused it to fall over. But the thing is, no matter where I lean, it's not falling back over again. And I'm getting all those weird goosebumps feelings again. But I keep leaning around and it's not falling back forward again. Banish them. In all honesty, I don't know how I'd feel about that. Unless you're saying that because you saw that. But I also wasn't paying too much attention to the fabric, so I wouldn't know if that happened. Yeah, that would be pretty creepy. But yeah, I was pushing down, so I was kind of curious. And literally, there is no way okay, that might be what it was. What was the droning sound? I know I have a heater that's running in here that is doing like a noise. Yeah, I just have a heater that's running in there, or in here. So you got a little heater that's running. So I'm actually, I don't know if this could have been possibly it. So I end up pushing this cushion up a little bit further to where the bottom's a little further in, and then I pushed down with a little bit of weight, and it leaned forward. So I think that's what it was, is the cushion was just leaning at the right angle, that when I leaned forward like this, like with that bottom portion being in, I leaned forward and it brought enough from where I angled in for it to cause the cushion to lean forward and hit my shoulder. Debunked. Maybe. I don't know. I'm telling myself that so I feel more comfortable about it. Now, if the cushion just slams into the back of me now, then I'm gonna be like, okay, yeah, something's going on. That would be pretty creepy. Oh, dude, so I do have to tell you something. I went against my better judgment in that video. Initially, when I showed up at the Devil's Tree. Okay, so, did you watch my Devil's Tree video? Don't even go there. But, did you watch my Devil's Tree video? Okay, dude, so you're gonna know what part I'm talking about when you watch it, but you need to watch it, especially after I tell you about this. But there is actually one part. Well, then you're going there on your own. I'm not going anywhere with anything that involves the Blair Witch. But there actually is a portion of it, and I don't know why it happened, but there's actually a portion of the tree that looks completely different from the rest of the tree, dude. This is creepy. And I touch one portion of the tree, and in the video you'll know exactly what I'm talking about, because you'll know when this moment happens. I touch part of the tree, and part of the tree actually feels, majority of the tree actually feels like a tree, like what you would expect. There's bark, and it feels like this heater's gonna be the death of me. Every time it hits one end, it goes, and then it goes back the other direction, and every time it does, I keep feeling like it sounds like someone going, huh. But it feels like a normal tree and everything. And then I'm like sitting there talking about this thing, and I touch that portion. I'm like, over here feels like a normal tree. It feels like bark and everything of a normal tree. And then move over, and I touch this other portion of it, and I was like, and this area feels like a rock. It feels like concrete. Like, it doesn't feel like anything you would find in a tree. No, 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 not nothing like that. Dude, you would have heard a phone call from me if it was something like that. But I touched this other portion of the tree, and it feels like a rock. It feels like someone has this big rock embedded in the tree. I have no clue. Dude, what? If you watch the video, you'll see the you'll actually know the portion of the tree that that feels like a rock straight off the bat, because you'll see how different it looks. It's smooth and everything just in that one portion. It legitimately looks like someone just embedded a boulder into that portion of the tree. But anyways, I touched this portion. I'm talking about it feeling like a rock and everything. And in the video, you'll actually see me pull my hand back and go, that was weird. And then I go back to touching it again, because we're sitting there talking. It's me and my sister. We're out there. And I'm sitting there explaining it about how the one portion feels like a rock and the one portion feels like a tree. And I just take my hand back. I was like, that's weird. Dude, it felt like some sort of. But whenever I was like, that was weird, and I pull my hand back, I had, while I had my hand sitting there, mind you, I put my hand on here for a minute or two. You know, I usually, with static electricity, if you touch something, how it zaps you like that split second you touch it, it's not like a couple minutes later. I touched this portion that looked like a rock, and I'm sitting there holding it. It's about a minute, no, not even a minute, it's probably about 10 to 15 seconds after I touch this rock portion, I get what feels like static electricity that enters through my fingers into the palm and goes up my arm into my body, and I pull, and you'll know exactly what I'm talking about, because you'll notice in the video, you'll see my hand jerk back, and I go, that was weird. And then for some reason I go right back to touching it again after that. But it's like 10 seconds after I laid my, or 5 to 10 seconds after I laid my hand on the rock portion of the tree. And then I get that weird little zapped feeling, and then I go right back to touching again. Weirdest thing that happened at all. That, well, not the weirdest, but Nikki had told me that there was the foundations of like a shed and a house out there, so we go to look for it, and right behind the devil's tree off the trail, there's this tunnel, what looks like a tunnel. I have no clue. I honestly do not know. It's been a couple days since that's happened though, but I don't know. And in all honesty, I don't even know how to go about figuring out if something like that happened. I never heard of anything like that, because there's been reports of satanic rituals going on at this tree. There's been reports of um, all sorts of different things going on there. But Yeah, there's a portion of the trees in the woods where back behind the devil's tree, there's this tunnel that goes through the trees. Well, I say tunnel, but it's more of like a clearing, like a little walkway. And I walked up to that portion, and as I was getting ready to cross through it, like, I don't know why, but I had this very dense, like, don't go here feeling. Like, you know, when you get ready to go somewhere where you know you're not supposed to be. I ended up getting a feeling like that. So I backed away from it, and then me and Nikki go to continue walking the trail. So I backed away after I get that feeling whenever I looked at that little walkway in the woods, and me and Nikki go walking along the trail, and because Nikki had read about the foundations of like a house and like 2 sheds or something like that. So we continue walking through the woods and everything, and I'm practicing B-roll and everything like that while we're out there too. Some of the B-roll made it into the final cut of the film, but then I have another portion where I'm talking, and Nikki steps off to the side, and you can see her back in the background while I'm talking. But the weird thing is, and there's few moments in the video where you know it's something happens, because I'm sitting there talking, and out of nowhere you see her in the background just spin around, and she just very quickly walks back from where she was at, past me to the other side. And while I'm talking, keep in mind when I'm talking, she's in the background back behind me, and I got the directional mic on, so the directional mic's aimed straight in that direction, and she's about as far away as I was standing from you that one time at Hungry Lands when we tested the mic to see how well the mic could pick up sounds. And she said that she heard a tree branch snap, and she's like, not like a twig or anything, she's like, it sounded like you or me actually stepped on a decent branch, or a decent sized branch, and snapped the branch. But the directional mic never picked up a tree branch snap or anything like that. And whenever we were walking back, there's this puddle in the middle of the wood and the path. And there's this puddle in the middle of the dirt path, and whenever we went back, there's actually a footprint in the mud in the middle of the path. It was like a shoe print that's a little bit smaller than the shoes I wear, but we never saw anyone on the side, or saw anything or anyone on our side of where we were walking. And then when everything was said and done, we went back to the Devil's Tree, and then we decided to go against our better judgment and enter that through that walkway that was going through the trees back to that area that we got that feeling of no, don't go back here. And we found the foundations of like the sheds and the house and everything like that back there when we went through that little thing. Now, when you mentioned something was there, are you saying like as an animal or something at that point in the video, or are you talking about you saw something in the live stream? Yeah, I think out of yeah, that's why when she heard the tree like that branch snap and everything, 'cause I watched back on the footage and I tried to hear if I could hear the branch snap on the footage, but you can't hear the branch snap. Only she heard it, and I never heard the branch snap either. Um, but that's why after that happened, we were in a fork in the road, and we didn't bother testing to see if we could find uh, which fork went back to where we were originally at and everything. We just turned around, we went back the direction we came, and we just went as fast as we could to get to back to where we were from, so that way we could get out of there and get back toward the entrance. But but yeah, something tells me it wasn't an animal at all, because that whole time frame that we were there, we did not see one single animal in that entire area. We didn't even see a bird. Like, there was no animals that we could see in that entire area. And I don't think it was, as far as I could tell, I didn't see any people at all either on our side when we went over to that side. Um, when we showed up, we were like the only car that had parked there and everything. And then by the time we got to that area, there was other vehicles that had shown up, but they had all been like hauling boats and went out into the water and stuff like that. But it just kind of concerns me a little bit that I potentially opened to my sister to becoming the target of something like that going on. But I've also been thinking since then, with experiencing that static shock going through my arm and everything like that. Oh, did your watchers slash shadows go back to you? Well, see, the thing is from my understanding, there was a death, I believe, in this house in the past, but I don't know if that could be something that they would sense as being the something that was here. But I know I've been getting goosebumps like crazy too. But I've been thinking ever since then too of trying to go to maybe a church or something and get a religious leader or someone to perform some sort of prayers or something. Oh yeah. But I've been thinking about going down to like a church or some sort of religious area after that experience and having a some sort of religious leader or pastor or someone and having them do like some sort of a prayer or protection or whatever over me after that experience. So is it letting you know while it's here, or does it go here and then go back to you and let you know? And in reference to the whole mention of can't believe I'm not tired, I do have tendencies every now and then where I'll sleep at night and keep going or wake up the next day, and it can be followed where every now and then it'll be followed by a moment where I'll go where I'll sleep one night and then I'll go the whole next day with no sleep, and then I'll stay up that whole night and then I'll stay up the whole next day. So there's time frames where I'll go 24 to 38 or 24 to um like 24 to 36 hours of no sleep. Well, I guess at that essence, then I guess you haven't really been truly angry at or fearful of me then because as far as I know, they haven't really shown their presence to me at all. I've just had a weird sense that would go off every now and then. Yeah. Oh, were you joking around whenever you mentioned something about the camper being haunted and whatnot? Is that and then Well, you know what? If you don't mind, giving me a ride, I guess now would be later on today. Then it might be a little bit easier to explain during the ride. I mean, I got a couple other people as well that told me they don't mind giving me a lift if I end up needing rides. So, but I mean, as long as they're not going to cause me any issues or any bodily harm or anything. All I know is I keep getting goosebumps every now and then where I feel like something's watching me, but it's like a phasing goosebumps where it starts at the top of my head and goes down through my feet. Every so often I get those goosebumps that kind of phase through me, and then after feeling it a couple times, the goosebumps go away for a little bit, and then they'll come back a little bit after that. And one thing I was sitting there thinking too is be really strange is I've never known a tree to oh, there goes the next wave of goosebumps. But I've never known a tree to and there goes the next wave to do like a static shock like that, but I've never known a static shock to happen like 5 seconds after you touch something either. Oh, that's crazy. Oh yeah. Yeah, I don't know what to tell you on that one, cause if maybe, cause see the one thing is I can usually get a sense about people, ah, but usually that sense I can use toward people, and it can usually let me know within the first few minutes of me meeting them what their intentions are. When I first meet someone, I can usually tell within the first couple minutes, because this weird, I guess what some people would say as a gift, where I can get an idea of their intentions toward other humans, and that's why my friend circle is kind of as small as it is with who I trust to talk to. But that only works towards humans. I haven't been able to get any sort of a sense toward anything else. So, if too bad that this gift doesn't work towards anything like that, because then that, if I was able to, I could be like, oh hey, this is what it is and what its intentions are and what its plans are and things like that. Oh yeah. Yeah, it would be, but unfortunately, I don't really have the ability to really read anything on that level. Most of my effects that I have, as far as what people would say as a gift, mostly only has an effect on people. And there's some days where I wish I did not have that gift. Because not only can I read your intentions when I first meet you, I can kind of get a reading off your intentions anytime that I'm around you. Like if you go to do something, I can usually, like, whenever you and Cody try and will try and get me to do something as like a joke or to make fun of me, and I kind of hesitate and then I don't do it. That is usually um, usually whenever those moments happen, where if you guys are trying to do something, well, not maybe not to make fun of me, but you're trying to do something that will look stupid on my part and everything like that, and then I hesitate and don't do it. A lot of times that's because I'll get ready to do it, and then there's like something with the vibe that I feel, and it kind of tips me off. It's like, wait, no, this isn't something that legitimately needs to be done. And then there's other times where I know it's for pointless fun, and but those moments of hesitation where I stop for a second before I decide whether or not I'm gonna follow through with it is usually where that sense kicks in, and I kind of get that vibe, and it's like, oh, this is not a legitimate request or anything like that. But then the other thing too is I can always read. Um, I think what the term was is I'm a empath or something like that. I don't know what the term is, but when I'm hanging around people and they get an extreme emotion, that extreme emotion will uh, influence my emotions to the extent that I can feel the emotions that they're getting. And the only thing is it's not I don't pick up on the slight emotion changes. And the way that it usually ends up affecting me is to the effects of um, if someone gets extremely angry towards someone else, but I'm not any part of it. Like I could be standing like 5 feet away, and two people could be getting ready to completely destroy each other in a fight, and if I look over and I realize that their tempers are getting loud and they're about to punch each other and everything, usually I'll leave, because I'll sit there and I'll take one look, and then out of nowhere, like, it seems like I tune into one of them, and I'll get that same level of anger and get ready to go fight. And it's crazy because it could be in moments where it's two people that I don't know. It could be two people I do know, but for some reason, if there's an extreme emotion, whether it be anger or happiness or sadness or anything like that, it's like I can take one look, and the second that I look over and my eyes connect with what's going on, that same emotion transfers over and spikes through the roof with me to like the same level that the people are on, even if I have no ties to anyone or anything in it. And it's like, that's why I keep saying people will say these are gifts, but then it's like, I don't always view them as gifts. And I always get a weird feeling. You talk about whenever we hang out. Or are you just talking about in general? Um, Most often in general, the times that when I can read something off of you, um, most of the times when I can read something off of you, it tends to be those moments when you're. I don't always know what's going on during those moments, but the moments when I can read something off of you, it always tends to come across as some sort of yeah, I'm just trying to figure out how to phrase it so that way I'm getting so that way I can ensure that you understand and that I understand, and we're both on the same page. But more often than not, the time frames that I get a reading off of you, or that I get some sort of a sense off of something off of you, it seems to be mostly some sort of a level of frustration. Like it seems like the moments when I can read something off of you, something's going on that seems to frustrate you, and you might not vocalize it to me or anything like that, but I can usually, when I pick up on it, and those are usually the moments where you'll notice if I tend to get a little quiet, or I kind of just tend to leave you be or anything like that, as I get the sense that something frustrates you when that happens. And then there's been other times where I didn't get too much of a reading, but more often than not, it's usually some sort of a level of frustration with someone or something going on. That seems to be the most frequent one that I can pick off of you. And like I said, I don't know what goes on when this happens. Usually I can tune in and get that feeling. And if you haven't noticed, I've been a lot more relaxed in the way that I interact with you, because I've been able to pick up on that. And the last thing that I've wanted to do is cause any more additional frustration. So, like, for example, with the other day, whenever I went and I decided to go and knock out a ton of things and let you have a little bit of time to kind of relax and everything like that. And that's because, and like I said, I don't know what's been going on. And as far as I'm concerned, I'm always around if you ever want to chat about it. But all I know is I picked up that you've been frustrated lately, and I've just kind of been a little more relaxed towards you, so that way I don't add into any of that of whatever's going on. But you talk about with like all the truck stuff and how things seem to keep kind of falling apart on me and everything like that. Uh, Yeah, a lot of stuff has been going on, but I spent the past couple days talking with my mom, and she actually was sitting there telling me, she's like, yeah, things might be frustrating now, and things might be worrying now, and everything like that. That she said that in the end, God has a plan, and something's gonna work out, something's gonna give at some point. And she said there's no way to know when it's gonna happen or how it's gonna happen, but eventually she's like, one day your luck's gonna turn around and you'll get back on your feet and be good to go again. So I spent a lot of my time really angry and frustrated and everything like that over it. But I think I've kind of hit that point where I'm just kind of going to continue to work to improve my situation, but I'm not gonna let it cause me any more grief or frustration or anything like that. The worst time I ever got a reading or the worst reading or vibe I've ever gotten off of you was that one night when certain things took place and you messaged me about it, and at that point I actually almost left 7-Eleven and got in my truck and drove to your place because the emotions that I was reading off of you had me seriously concerned in how you would react toward other people, because it just seemed like there was a lot of anger and frustration and everything coming off of you toward other people, and I was like, it kind of concerned me a little bit, but then after we started talking and things kind of leveled out and everything. Oh yeah. But yeah, that's the worst reading I ever got was whenever you were texting me and everything that night. Something with the way how the connection was going that night, it just seemed like there was a lot of anger and frustration, and I was actually kind of really concerned. I was practically to the point of leaving 7-Eleven that night and going straight to your place because the readings that I was getting, I feel like you were on the brink of going and doing something that would not have been good if that had actually happened, or if anything had actually given that night. Yeah, so usually it's during moments of extreme emotion of some form that when I can kind of read it off of someone, and usually I get a stronger connection of it when I'm physically there with that person, but there are times where it can be so much as a connection through texting or calling or something like that where I can get a reading. But usually with that one, it's usually a little bit harder for me to read the emotions through that method. But and the thing is too though is I can be in like a Walmart or something, and if there's someone that has extreme sadness, so I'm just kind of focusing a little bit, seeing if I can get any sort of a feeling or a vibe at all. Yeah, I'll have to see. Because the only thing I've been feeling tonight is sporadic goosebumps throughout the night. But it's like the wave goosebumps where it starts at the head and goes down through the feet. And I don't know what that's supposed to mean because I'm used to. Oh, where'd you? Oh, they over checking somewhere else out. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Alright, well, I've actually noticed I'm probably going to go ahead and end this live stream. You can go ahead and message me and text me and whatnot, but this live stream apparently is taking so much juice from my phone that even with the external battery hooked up, my phone is still dying. It's gone from 6% down to 1%. So, I'm going to go ahead and end the live stream. But go ahead and hit me up in Messenger. Let me know about that experiment and everything. And yeah, if you want to, we can hang out a little bit tomorrow if you want. But yeah, hit me up in Messenger, and I'm gonna go ahead and get this ended. And it looks like we made it to almost the 3 hour mark. So yeah, I'm gonna end this, and I'll hit you up in Messenger. All right, man.